Hi Singles friends, today we are doing a haul and it is a thrift haul. I had some pretty exciting success at a local Salvation Army and found lots of vintage goodies as well as some newer items, but really some cool vintage goodies, and I want to share them with you. So if you want to see what I got in my latest Salvation Army haul, just keep on watching. Hi Singles friends, welcome back to my channel. As I said in the intro, today we are doing a thrift haul, and it is a thrift haul from Salvation Army. But before we get into that, let me let you know who I am. My name is Heather and I am a part-time reseller on eBay, Poshmark, and Etsy, and I use this YouTube channel to document my journey. So if you're interested in how to sell on any of those platforms, online reselling in general, thrift hauls, unboxings from places like ThredUp and Bulk, and even a few thrifty flips, then you will definitely enjoy this channel. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button so that you're notified every Tuesday and Friday when I upload a new video. So let's get into it. This haul is from Salvation Army. Now, I am a big lover of Salvation Army. It has always been one of my preferred thrift stores for decades. I have been thrifting since I was just a child, and so I have had a lot of experience, and Salvation Army is always one of my favorites. I find the best stuff there, and I find lots of awesome vintage goods. Now, having said that, I do believe this is my first ever Salvation Army haul. One, because I usually don't get a big enough grouping of stuff when I go in there to show you as a haul, because they don't have as quick of a turnover as some place like Goodwill does. Also, their hours are not as convenient for me since they do not stay open past 4 o'clock right now because of the pandemic. So usually I just pop in there, grab a couple of things, and head out, and so there isn't enough to do a haul. But this time, I tell you what, I got lucky. I probably wasn't even in there for an hour, and I found all of this wonderful stuff, a few current things, but a lot of vintage things that I'm super excited about, and a few things I actually paid up for. So I am so excited to share this with you, and also to get your opinions, especially if you're vintage sellers, on a couple of these pieces to see what you think, and also maybe some insight as to what you think they are worth. So now that that's all out of the way, let's get into checking out all the pieces. So I'm going to start first with the non-vintage items that I picked up. Now, I was lucky on this day as they were having a tag sale. So everything that was pink, they do that. It doesn't matter what price it was, it's 99 cents today. So I specifically went after looking for pink things, which is part of the reason why I picked up these few non-vintage items, because I just couldn't beat the price for 99 cents. And this first one up is a really pretty, it almost looks like a chambray blue. It looks like a chambray suit, but it is actually a linen pantsuit. And it is by United Nations Colors, which every time I look up anything by this, it keeps coming to Benetton. And I don't know if it's a subsidy of Benetton or what, but it also has, if I can find it, you can see it. It has a little Benetton branding. So if you're familiar, please let me know. As I said, I am not familiar with this brand, but right down there it says Benetton of Korea. So I don't know if this is what Benetton's called in Korea or if it's a subsidiary, but either way, 99 cents, I'm excited to have it, especially since it is a linen suit. I think I started pricing at about 40 bucks for this, because again, I don't know if that's what this brand means, but it is a kind of 2000 vibes to me, because it has this oversized button with the oversized buttons on the pockets, and then for the pants, it's a flat front high waist pant with those oversized buttons on the pockets, but they are faux pockets. and a straight leg pant. Really, really pretty suit. This is another one that I got for 99 cents. And it is a brand Think Tank. And it is a really pretty velour. I want to say velour, but it feels much more like velvet. It's really heavy and thick like a velvet. It's made of cotton with a little bit of spandex stretch, and it's a really pretty blazer. And it has this fun ruffle detail all at the top, and then just 2 hook and eye closures. And then it also has a nice deep slit in the sleeve if you want to roll it up and do a little bit more of a 3/4 thing. Just love it. It has kind of vintage vibes, but it is definitely current, and I love the velvet quality. Great for winter that we're in, and also super trending right now. This one, I can't believe I listed it yesterday and it's already sold. This was one of those, maybe I shouldn't have bought it pieces that I figured out when I got home. A nice label, but it is not vintage. I thought it might be too because of the pattern, because it's a cute all over sunglass print. And this is a size large men's button down shirt. And again, just the color and the sunglass print is what caught my eye. I ended up spending $1.99 on this one, which was their regular price. And last time I was in there, I almost picked it up. So when it was still there again, I was like, okay, Heather, it keeps catching your eye, just pick it up and get it. And I can't believe it sold the very next day after listing. I had it listed for 19 and took an offer of 14. So it was really great to see that it sold so quickly. The comps, given it's not vintage, the comps were pretty low. I was seeing it sold most places for $10 to $14. But I did go ahead and do my normal listed high, so I listed at 19, but when somebody gave me an offer for 14, since I thought it probably wasn't the best buy once I got home and looked at comps, I just took it. So sold within a day, pretty pleased with that, pretty pleased with the overall return on $2. Now the rest of what I got was is all vintage. First up, in addition to the other pantsuit, I scored this vintage pantsuit, and let me put on my glasses so I can remind myself how much I paid for it. This ended up costing me $2.99, which was the listed price. So this is Danny and Nicole. It is a vintage 1980s pantsuit, like if you couldn't tell already. And some of you have asked more information about identifying vintage, which I'll do a whole video on. So if you're interested in seeing a video on that, please comment below and I'll add that to my video list. But here's one of the ways that's really good to tell. First, you can see that the label is a nice big label. The names are embroidered on it. Since everything's about cheap cost of goods and most things are fast fashion now, you do not see embroidered labels. You do not see time and effort put into labels like this. And then also down here, you can see by the way this label looks, it almost looks like paper with typing on it. That's a sure sign it's usually 80s or earlier. And then the other thing is it says made in the USA. If you see an old label that says made in the USA, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be vintage. When you look this up, most of these look like they're about the 80s time period, which would make sense given the branding, given the label, and given the styling for sure. So this is a really fun pantsuit piece. I love it. It is houndstooth, classic, black and white, oversized collars that were so popular in the 80s, and you're seeing a huge comeback with these. Also, these buttons, and then faux flat pockets so you can play off that big ass collar. Really cool, really fun vintage piece. This would be a great piece to buy even if you wanted to wear them separately and just wear the blazer and then maybe wear the pants for something else. I'm trying to get in there so I can show you these totally 80s pants. Oh, she's got 2 inside buttons. Some other things that let you know it's vintage. They spend more time on making things. Of course she has shoulder pads because it's the 80s, you know. But these pants are wonderful. Really, really, look at that. Super duper high-waisted, a black pant. It's almost a tapered leg. It doesn't seem as straight to me, but it may seem more tapered because it's definitely got all that extra room in the hips. So you have that shape that you're used to seeing in the 80s. And a little bit elastic waist just on the back, and then hidden zip closure. Really, really great find. I love this, but I love all things vintage, all things 80s. So much, like just the gaudiness is so awesome. I love it. So I'm probably gonna start that out at $44 and we'll go from there. Here's another awesome, crazy piece. Definitely vintage. I ended up paying the regular price for this, which was $2.99. And it is, what caught my eye, besides being able to tell that it is a vintage label, is it is 100% silk. I'm seeing so many people now that the younger kids, show my age, the youngins now that seem to love to wear the mom's jeans with silky blouses, and I just think that this would look fabulous. This is Doncaster, and it is Doncaster silks, and I've sold 1 or 2 Doncaster pieces before. This brand moves well for me. It is a size 10 and it is 100% silk. Again, if you're identifying vintage, look at that label. It is so much time and effort was put into that. It is all embroidered. It's really nice. Now, this is a 90s piece, not an 80s piece. And the reason, one of the identifiers, besides looking up similar shirts, which I never found this exact one, but I did find some other Doncaster silks, and they all have them marked as the 80s, but there's a couple of other ways that you could, they all have them marked as the 90s. And there's a couple of other ways that you can tell that this is a 90s piece. One, it's made in China now. We're not made in the USA anymore, which would be consistent with where we're going with manufacturing in the 90s. And then also you could tell here by this label, the content care label. We now have a looped fold over label. It is nicer, almost embroidery looking than what you would see now, which gives you a hint that it's vintage, if this crazy print and this label didn't already give you that hint. But because the label is a nicer label like this and it doesn't look like paper, that's more of an identifier that this is likely a 90s piece. But oh my gosh, look at this. Super beautiful bright colors, all over flowers, quality made silk, all matching silk covered buttons. Of course she has shoulder pads, but again, if you're not into the shoulder pads, snip snip, easy to remove. Short sleeve. And then we have the nice little slit here, so easier movement, and the buttons stop here, so this would be perfect shirt for French tucking. Love it, love it, love it. This one I'm going to start out at $34 and hope to get at least $24 for it. But again, you know me, starting out high, you can always have some room to send offers, run a sale, and all of that good stuff. Here's a piece, another piece that I spent 99 cents on. Pleated skirts are super trending, especially this midi length, and it's plaid, and you have all these gorgeous 80s, 90s pastels. This would look super cute with some Doc Martens. Oh my gosh, I'm living for it. Very Gucci-esque. And I'm going to take the hanger off to show you. This is Pendleton. And again, vintage, you could tell from that label. But again, we have the loopy label here, the cleaning content label, and it is not a papery label. I do believe this is 90s vintage. And what? It's size 18 plus size. Yes, vintage plus size. I love when I find that. I love to be able to give my gals like me, us plus gals, we still love vintage, and it is not always easy to find, especially since vintage sizing runs smaller than current sizing. But this is an 18, so vintage gals, come on in. Now, we do have some vintage issues. And I noticed this when I was at the store, but I figured 99 cents. I will just denote it in the listing. Couple little small holes. But then, and one little small hole here. Barely there holes, but still definitely denote it. But then when I got to listing it, I found a couple more on the back end. Ugh. Not too happy about those extra ones in there, but again, just something I will denote. It did only cost me 99 cents, so I can't complain too much. And we're gonna start that one out at 34 and hope to get at least 24 for it. So definitely some wiggle room in there. If so many people lowball those offers because of the holes, then I still have plenty of wiggle room, even after the $24 to go ahead and get some money back for that. Been having a lot of success lately finding vintage bags, and I'm not even particularly looking for them. I'm just going through the bag section, and I happen to find a lot of leather pieces. And I love to find leather bags because they are so easy to clean up with some of that Doc Martin Wonder Balsam to make them seem new, and especially when they aren't super worn in. And this one is so cute and very on trend for the current. It's this crossbody bag, and we have the adjustable strap so you can make it the good size for you. And then it has an inside opening and 2 side zippers. So all those different, pen and pencil compartments. There's a great little spot. And again, I wasn't really expecting whether or not this would be vintage. I was just basically picking it up because I liked the look of it and I liked that it was leather. Only marked $1.99, so I knew that I could get a nice return on it. But what I'm really excited about is to see that it is Hobo International. This is a very nice brand. They still make wonderful things today, and it is just a quality leather handbag. But what's also cool is if you can see at the very bottom of this label written in green, it says Annapolis, Maryland, USA. So this is actually one of their vintage handbags, and it came from their flagship store in Annapolis, Maryland, which to me makes that even more special. So let's see. Come with me, wear some glasses so that you can see for a distance. So like I said, it only cost me $1.99, and I am going to start it out at $39.99 and hope to get at least $29.99 for it. Now, the last 2 pieces that I want to show you today, I am super excited about, so much so that I paid up for them. This beautiful piece that Miss Mannequin is wearing. This is a vintage, I do believe it's 1960s, maybe 70s, but I'm thinking it's 60s. No label, nothing in it. And it is, or it was, a prom dress. And the lady that worked at Salvation Army, because I was going crazy over this dress, were several other ones there that I didn't end up picking up because it was priced up at $9.99. But I think I'm gonna go back tomorrow and see if any of them are still there, because there were 2 or 3 other ones that I really just thought were beautiful, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and get them since it's been the weekend and I can't get them out of my head. But she told me that somebody had dropped these off. They were cleaning out their mother's house and found all these vintage prom dresses. So given the time period and the age, I'm thinking it's 60s. It's just gorgeous. Lace, I picked up this one on purpose because it's creamy lace. It has boho peasant vibes. It could also be a great wedding dress if you're looking for an outdoor or casual beach wedding. Oh, it would be fabulous. I love the lace detail. It does have some flowers on it. It's all pleated lace. Underneath is elastic waist with a little teeny thin belt on it. And I'll go ahead and inset some more pictures of this so that you can see it in greater detail. Again, these kind of comps are really hard to do on some of these vintage pieces because you're never going to find something exactly like it. But based on pieces that I'm seeing out there, I do believe I could start this at $75, and if I could get even $50 for it, it would definitely be worth the $9.99 investment. And after doing all that research, it really made me think, I think I should go back and get those other ones if they're still there that I was loving, because I think it's definitely worth the investment. And here is another item that I paid up for, and this might be one of the most expensive items that I've bought, which isn't that expensive, honestly. It's only $19.99, but it is the most expensive item that I've purchased to resell, and it was expensive enough for the lady to ask me if I realized it was $19.99 and not $1.99, and if I wanted to pay the price for it, which I did go ahead and say yes. And it is a gorgeous mesh bag. And what turned me on to this, because you see mesh bags resell all the time, but this is heavy, guys. This is really heavy. And then it has this gorgeous chain. I mean, it is absolutely stunning. And then this, I mean, it's just solid metal. So if you guys are into vintage things, you will recognize this brand, but let me tell you this is what I saw first, and I tried to do research on this when I was in the store because I wasn't sure if I wanted to spend 20 bucks because I'm cheap. And it says Jewelry Marseille Bag Shop, Forest Hills, New York. Now, two things. One, you could tell by that label, we're talking old. This is what I determined in the store, that we have to be at least 50s or so. Definitely older. And you could tell by the lining. But when I got home and started researching, I cannot find but one purse with this label, and it is a 1920s mesh purse. Now, I do not believe that this is 1920s. And the reason why I do not believe it's 1920s, although I'd love to know it was, but I do not think that it is. And the reason why is once I pulled the lining out to make sure everything was cleaned up and nice in there, and I'm talking about, it is cleaned up and nice. It doesn't even look like it's hardly been used, or whoever had it definitely took wonderful care of her belongings. But then I found this label in the inside, and if you are a mesh bag connoisseur, you will definitely recognize that label and that brand, as most of the vintage mesh bags that I saw when doing my search are this label and this brand. And it is Mesh by Whiting and Davis company and bags, and as you can see, it's made in the USA. Now, when I look up this label, and I believe where I look it up is Vintage Fashion Guild. I believe that's what it's called. I'll pop in an insert here. They are a great resource to use for identifying labels to try to give you a better idea of when the item is made. And the label that looked like this one on their website, they said is 1940s after World War II. So I'm thinking this is a 1940s bag, or possibly more recent. But what's really throwing me for a loop is I can't find anything at all on this shop. It being a jewelry shop really makes me wonder. I just don't know. I don't know if this is normal for these bags or if it was a collabo. I don't know if that jewelry shop had been around since the 20s when the last bag was identified, and their bag that they had listed that had this marked on it, I do not remember it. I do not remember if it was the same brand, but they said that it was authenticated. So I assume that they put some effort into seeing what year and everything it was. So as of right now, I'm guessing it's a 1940s bag, which rocks my world. The last bag that I purchased that was closest in age to this was a 1950s bag, and I ended up paying $7.99 for it and ended up netting $50 on it. I think I can get more for this. It is definitely unique. While that brand is all over the place, this exact bag certainly is not. And I just want to show you it barely has any wear on it. And I'm not sure if you're going to be able to pick this up on camera, but there are just a few pieces that have some scratches on them. And there's a little bit to be cleaned up, which it hasn't been cleaned up or anything yet. But oh my God, what gorgeousness. I mean, this is just gorgeous quality bag. Now, as just an added bonus, inside that bag came this bag, which I thought, oh cool, it came with its dust cover. Well, it's not its dust cover, it's a Gucci dust cover. So I'm still gonna go ahead and sell this dust cover, probably for like 20 bucks or so. It is authentic Gucci. Not really sure what a Gucci bag is. But kudos, she must have had a wonderful bag collection if she was storing her vintage bag in a Gucci. There you go. It is the Gucci bag, or an authentic Gucci dust cover. So the dust cover, I'm going to start at $24, and I mean, really, to be honest with you, if I get anything for it, it's a total freebie. Which is what a weird thing to find in the inside of here. But this bag, I'm gonna start out at $124, and we're gonna go from there. And I hope, honestly, I don't know. I'd hope to get at least $60 to justify my $20 price point personally. But we're gonna kind of see where it goes based on the reaction I get to it, and if anybody sends me offers and stuff like that, and then we'll go for there. But I am going to start it out high. It's just heavyweight, really unique, really beautiful piece. If you have any knowledge about this stuff, please let me know in the section below. I'm not very familiar with a lot of clothing. Usually 70s, 80s, and 90s are more of where my wheelhouse is. So when it gets too much before that, I definitely have a learning curve. So if you know anything about this, please do let me know. Some really good things. I was pleasantly surprised, very excited. Like I said, I always have a lot of luck finding vintage pieces when I am shopping Salvation Army, but I am not usually paying up for things. So it was great to find this gorgeous dress for $9.99 and amazing to find this mesh purse for $20. So I'm really excited to see how those turn out. Overall, I spent, and if you wonder, my big ass monitor's over here. You might have noticed there's been a little bit of changes. I do have yet another office video coming out for you very soon, so you can see how I rearranged my office, given my new computer and my new big ass monitor. And I kind of have it tilted right now to help me look at prices while I'm talking to you. Only I did not consider that I can't see that far away, even though I enlarged it. You know, you'd really think after 45 years, or almost 45 years, that I'd realize how blind I am, and still have not. So overall, I spent $40.92, and I'm hoping to make anywhere between $290 and $450. And again, that range is humongous because I have some vintage things in here, and I'm not quite sure what exactly I can get for them, and that range on that purse is humongous. But even if it's just to make $200 and some dollars, what did I say, $290? Even if it was just to make $290 on a $49 investment, about 50 bucks, I'd say that was well worth its investment. But you know, the more the merrier. So I would love to hear from you guys. What do you think of this haul? I haven't done a haul in a hot minute, and so I'm sure that you're excited to see one, but this one I think is pretty dope. I'm pretty excited about it, so I'd love to hear your comments below. Also, don't forget to comment and let me know if you'd like me to do a more in-depth video about sourcing vintage. Of course, like I said, most of it will be probably 80s and 90s. We'll go back further based on what I have in my collection to show you, but I am happy to do that for you if a lot of you are interested. And I may learn a few things along the way myself, which is why I am documenting this whole journey. Not only does it keep me accountable, but it also helps me learn things when I'm teaching you things. So I hope that you found this video useful. If you did, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. As your thumbs up, let me know what kind of content to create in the future. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, more hauls, more reselling videos, and more of that kind of stuff, then go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and do not forget to ring the bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video, which is now on Tuesdays and Fridays. So thank you guys ever so much for tuning in. Thank you for your comments, likes, and subscriptions. They mean the world to me, and I will see you Friday with a new video. Take care, everybody. Goodbye.